Well, we're back. 2 weeks ago, we had the Bentleyville episode. And for this week's episodes, we are back in Duluth. This time we are in West Duluth, kind of in the Fond du Lac area.
Gary, New Duluth.
A little
bit past there.
We're sitting in the parking lot of a really cute park, and behind us is a very fancy looking, almost like a tiny home, I would say.
Yes.
Would that be descriptive?
Mm-hmm.
And there's currently two gentlemen standing outside bathing themselves in a bucket. But don't worry, it's not like that. You will see what we're chatting about in a minute. How do you feel about saunas?
I enjoy saunas. I am one who definitely likes to sauna a couple days a week, especially in the winter.
Yeah.
It's really good for the skin and the dryness, and being in the pool a lot, like, it really helps with the sweating out the chlorine, so my skin doesn't like dry out as much
and turn green. I'm just kidding.
Just walk around like the Hulk.
Well, good news, because that little building behind us, as you already know, because I told you what we were doing today, but for our listeners, it is a sauna, and we are going to go into Duluth's newest sauna experience.
Yeah.
So let's go check it out. This is Exploring the North Shore with
Martha
and Jay. This podcast episode is sponsored by Cascade Vacation Rentals. They know that life has a tendency to be overwhelming at times, and busy schedules often leave people feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. That's why they're here, to offer you the space and opportunity to reconnect to what's important. Cascade Vacation Rentals has one of the largest selections of privately owned vacation rental homes and cabins on Minnesota's North Shore of Lake Superior, from Duluth to the Canadian border. Their team is there to help you and your family or small group enjoy a vacation you'll remember for years to come. Visit them online at www.cascadevacationrentals.com. And don't forget to use promo code PODCAST for the largest % off discount available at any given time. Again, that's www.cascadevacationrentals.com. All right, so we are here at Cedar and Stone. We are in, it's a portable sauna, I guess would be what you call it.
Well, it's not super portable in that it is very large, but it does have wheels, so we can move it. So Cedar and Stone, Nordic. Hi, I'm Justin, guys.
Yes, I was gonna get
we could do that too, but yeah, sort of. It can move around.
So who are you and where are we?
Yeah, my name is Justin Juntunen. I'm the founder of Cedar and Stone Nordic Sauna, based out of Duluth, Minnesota, and we are serving North America's best mobile sauna to Duluth and the upper Midwest because winters are cold here and our lives have a little bit of stress. And in my life, I know of no better place. It works every time, tried and true, to relieve my stress than the sauna. Or as my family would pronounce that word, the sauna.
The sauna.
Because my family's Finnish. Now, there's vehement camps on both sides of that, of how to pronounce that word. I don't want to get into it otherwise than my family pronounces it that way because they're Finnish. But we are open here in Duluth, and we're running guided sauna sessions and experiences, a lot like a spa. Because I don't think very many people have a great quality experience of sauna. Some people do, and many in Minnesota have experienced that lake cabin sauna where they warm up and then go run and jump off the dock, right? And that is breathtaking and beautiful. Most people have only experienced sauna in some hotel or some gym, and what they don't know is how to use it. They sit in there after their workout and they say, okay, I'm a little sweaty. Now what? I'm done. And the thing that I want to do, I really want to guide people and help teach them the wellness benefits, the history of it in Duluth, and how it can really impact sort of our communities as a kind of third space, a community. We're reviving a history that has existed here in the North and in Duluth before. Which we can get into, but yeah, that's what we're up to, and we're so excited you guys are here today.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, so it's not too shabby to be doing a sauna for the podcast.
Yeah, you guys, your work is so hard.
I know,
so stressful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I want to kind of paint the picture here because we are in It's very, I feel like, I want to say this word, but I feel like it's overused, but it touches on it. It's almost like a Nordic, Northwoodsy, modern, but still kind of this classic feeling. I don't know, like, where did this...
I'm in a coffee shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a really high-end coffee shop.
So when we use words like mobile or trailer or portable, what that in people's minds often insinuates is small. And what we said was we actually need this thing to function with large groups of people because it's a community space. And just in terms of our business model, I want to make sure a lot of people can be in it. And so we have a 10 to 15 person hot room sauna that's about 8 by 12. And then we're looking in it right now and looking at beautiful benches that were designed custom by my good friend Joel Vikra, who is a distiller in Duluth, and wood-fired stove and panoramic windows to look out at wherever we are.
I feel like when most people think of sauna, they picture themselves going into this little wooden paneled room with a heater. And they don't think that you could have a sauna that is completely open to the outdoors.
Yeah.
I mean, this is floor-to-ceiling windows in there. Absolutely.
And we have breathtaking views here in the north. And so that's the thing I want to show people is this is... look through the window to see people enjoying this. They're doing it well. It's less intimidating than going in this little box of wood with no windows and what's happening in there, right? Like let's just open it up and show people both what's outside and also a little bit what is it like in there. It's less imposing. And then we are now in the lobby. Not many portable spaces can say they have a lobby. Almost no portable spaces can say they have a lobby with 11-foot ceilings, which is what we're in right now. And so in this space, Martha described it as a coffee shop. We have tea on from our local Snooty Fox tea shop right in the hillside of Duluth. We have water. We have space to store your belongings. We have some retail. We have a check-in station and a spot to sit because this space needs to be your relax point. Sauna is always much more than a hot room. Mm-hmm. It's this process of hot, cold, rest, rehydrate, repeat. And so if we just made a hot room on wheels, we would be missing more than half of the full experience of sauna. And so that's what we're doing. We're kicking off here in Duluth, and I couldn't be more excited to have you guys.
And how long ago did you start this idea and the process of it?
Great question. It's hard to draw the beginning point. I could do it a few different spots. One is I have grown up in these spaces of sauna. My family has always had them in homes. We, I remember being a little kid and they'd bring me in and I'd be in a bucket on the floor splashing away. And then as you get older, you say, okay, I'm going to go up to the middle bench. And now I'm going to go up to the top bench and sit next to dad or grandpa or mom or dad. And that's now what my kids do, which is so wonderful. And so I've grown up in these spaces. I've built multiple saunas over the years with family. And then in those saunas, I've guided hundreds of people through them. And I don't say that boastfully. It's just we've hosted parties and gatherings and people come over. And most people who come, they don't have the history and experience of sauna. They just have the why, or they just have those spaces that are... in my opinion, great and necessary and convenient, but convenient food isn't always the best quality food.
Yeah.
Right? And so the thing we're trying to do here is uncompromising quality. You get the highest experience, the best experience, and no corners have been cut at all. And then we want to guide you through it.
I think it's pretty fair to say it's a luxury sauna experience.
Yeah, I would say luxury in a northern Minnesota way, which is like our friends at Duluth Pack.
Yes.
So that is luxury, but not opulent.
Yeah.
And it's quality and it lasts. And it's also not do it yourself. Mm-hmm. It's not chintzy. It's not small. Like Duluth Pack, there's some good friends and we've been partnering with them a little bit. And that's the thing is their brand holds these tensions of quality and luxury and accessible and welcome and for everybody. That's where we want to sit in terms of what Cedar and Stone is.
It's funny you say that. I just started saving up money to buy this Duluth pack that I really want. Like not the base level. I want this level Duluth pack. So I'm putting aside money every month. It's my my big purchase of the year. I should explain our little giggle about the Y there is Martha was formerly the aquatics coordinator at the Grand Marais Y.
What's up?
So
okay,
she's
she knows.
quite familiar with the sauna experience at the Y.
Sauna after swim lessons all the time.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
But it is very different. Like, this is a much different feel to it, and you've got the good vibe going.
Yeah.
And very welcoming. And so where have you gone with it so far?
Yeah. With this unit, we've gone here. We're here today on our sort of soft launch weekend. We are beginning to partner with some of our hotels in Duluth and a few of our different areas and businesses. Today was a bit of, this weekend was a bit of an experiment. How does it run? What things do we need to tweak and test? And okay, we need coat hooks over here, and but the sauna itself works beautifully. And so right now it's just tweaking the final 5% to really give folks the best experience. And we're gonna then be partnering, hopefully, with a few of those hotels in the area, because I think the majority of the people who are gonna use this, it will be locals like me in Duluth, who I have a old Duluth house that has a small backyard and not enough room for a sauna, but I've always wanted one. This would be a space where it's available to me, and I can buy a session, or if the winter's getting long, I can buy a membership and I can come multiple times and it pays for itself. Memberships are great. I think of our Spirit Mountain, I think of the Duluth Aquarium, Great Lakes Aquarium, like as a family, it makes sense for us to buy the membership because it pays for itself after 3 times, 4 times, right? And so we're going to provide that to people for our locals, makes it more affordable and accessible, open the welcoming door. And then I think a lot of folks who are coming up to Duluth, the North Shore, Grand Marais, they want experiences of the North. And that might be a little bit different for some people. That might be Boundary Waters. That might be come to Duluth and look at the lift bridge and sip your coffee. That might be, Nordic skiing and downhill skiing and trail running and mountain biking. All those things are great experiences of the North. I believe sauna is also one of the best experiences of the North. So we're going to guide a lot of folks who are touristing and who are coming up and they want to spend a weekend in Duluth, and they're coming up in any month of the year. The lake is always cold, and we want to give them a great sauna experience as a part of their weekend, right? You're coming up as a couple or a family, and you come and you melt away the stress of life. You slow down, come look at our beautiful lake, and maybe even jump in it. Yes. And so that's what we're going to be doing here very, very soon.
And I saw on your Instagram, you have a very active Instagram page. I love looking at it. So everyone should like them, Cedar and Stone on Instagram.
Go follow us on the gram or on, Facebook.
The book.
Younger listeners, we're on TikTok because we're just doing it all. See, Martha knows. Martha knows. So we're, I think we just want to be a good storyteller of this thing, and we're just finding whatever platform to tell that story.
Well, I saw you had a whole family from Minneapolis, a family of 4, 2 little boys.
We had a family of 4 in here yesterday with 2 little guys, and they were both, one was 1 and one's 3, and it was so wonderful. And I'm a dad of 2 little ones. I have my daughter turned 5 this week, and my son's about to turn 3. And I've grown up in the sauna, and so I wanted to say, how do I not make this a spa where kids can't show up? How do we make a space that's, 1, safe enough for little kids? And we have a beautiful stove that also gets hot, that has a beautiful guard around it. And I haven't seen one parent say, no, oh, hey. Because that's the thing, if the stove's just there, people get worried, as they should for their kids. So this space it's safe and it's welcoming, and we had these 2 little rosy cheeked boys take a sauna with us yesterday, and it was like dreams coming true for me. It was the thing I had kept hoping for.
So let's talk a little bit about, you were talking about the sauna history. Let's touch on it a little bit. What is the history of sauna that makes it, the health benefits? Is kind of, because I think people know you go in there, you get sweaty, and that's it. But what are the benefits of it?
Sure. So kind of on the wellness side, sauna for years in Finland, and immigrants like my family, they would always say it's sort of the cure-all. What's exciting is that now we're backing those old wives' tales and old grandpa tales for me with studied research. So last year, the Mayo Clinic published a study that was a longitudinal study of the effects of sauna over a 20-year period for people. So this was in Finland. They marked for 20 years these samples of people, and they marked how much time they used, how much, per week, how hot it was, and then they tracked all their health benefits. What they saw was that in almost every marker, people were more healthy when they saunaed more. And so folks who used it 2 to 3 times a week, at the end of that study, had significant drops in their percentages of just all-cause mortality, which is like death of any cause other than accidents, right? Like, so just big marker of health. That dropped. And then folks who used it even more, 4 to 7 times a week, that dropped 40%.
Wow.
Which is nuts, right? So like you think about in your later years of life, how do you stay healthy? How do you work your heart out? Well, you need to stay active and you need to move. Also, sauna is one of the very few areas where you can work your heart out, where your limbs don't need to do anything. You get to rest into the exercise, and then your body is triggering these additional benefits like better sleep, increased immune system. Your blood cells hold more oxygen as they go through your body, so it flushes out toxins. It's great for after workouts for people. The gym setup is great if you know how to use it. The 4 minutes in the sauna at 110 degrees isn't doing enough than if you do multiple rounds. You do a higher heat. You'll often do a lower humidity in Finnish sauna. And then you work through that process and you feel great. And then you have the best night of sleep you've had in months. And me as a dad,
That's very true.
who, get woke, a lot of wake ups in the middle of the night. Sleep is precious, people. And so that, the thing we're trying to do is really engage here with, our wellness communities in the upper Midwest and in Duluth, especially where we live. We're built on one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. And the city really now is access. People move to Duluth because they want access to the trail system. They want to get done with work and go ride their mountain bike 5 minutes down the road. They can just hop on the trailhead and bike anywhere in the city. And that's a similar thing around, for me, of what we're going to do with sauna is I want more access for people to come in, to learn about it, to be guided through it, and then learn all these wellness benefits and learn how to practice it. And so we'll offer different classes or sessions, just like you would at a gym or just like you would at a yoga studio, where you have a guide. Nobody walks into the yoga studio and just starts doing yoga, right? Like there's always somebody in front helping you out. Guy, do the next pose. And that's what we'll do with sauna. And there's going to be some people, our introvert friends, who they need to just do silence and solitude sauna. They need to rest and recover, recharge. And we're going to do those in the mornings, looking at the sunrise over Lake Superior.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like,
Please come to Grand Marais.
please invite us. It's on wheels. We can come on up.
We were just discussing that when you were gone. I'm like, I know exactly where this can park, and I know all the people who would come.
Great. So, that is a version that we'll do kind of that morning sunrise sauna. But for the extroverts like me who know I need silence and solitude, and sauna is good for that for me, but also sauna is a really malleable space. It's a lot of different things depending on who's in it and how it's being used. So sauna is also very social. So end of a long week and it's been a hard week at work, and you just need to melt away your stress. Come do happy hour with us and we'll do a session. You'll be with your friends, bring your friends, and we will guide you through that process. But it's going to be very different than the morning sauna. We're going to do some athletic recovery sauna. We're going to teach you more, lean into the wellness more, and also lean into the benefits of the cold. So cold plunge, cold recovery, how that's good for you and your muscles. And I'm really excited. We're working with some female guides. We're going to do women's only sauna Sundays where we...
It's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, safe spaces are really important in life. And especially for women, we want to be a space that like, hey, go find your girlfriends, find your people, and then come and get taken care of and hang out and rest with us. And, sauna is a vulnerable space. I'm very aware of that people, are going to be in their swimsuits and they come in. Quick side note, one question always happens is like, do you have to wear a swimsuit? Yes. It's a public space. There's very big windows.
Yes.
We're still in the Midwest. We're not in Finland.
Be completely naked right
That is on the website as one of the features. It is a swimsuited sauna.
Yeah.
But still, that can be a vulnerable experience. And so setting up a space that is women's only really just fits the vision of being that welcome, like that it's not just quality, it's also welcome. Mm-hmm. And let's set up spaces for people to feel empowered and comfortable and guided from a woman who really knows what she's talking about, and helping that group have the great experience that day. And then, have some tea, have some water, get hydrated, then go have dinner or go out and have lunch together, right? And like, just do it up well. So those are some examples of the kinds of sessions that we'll do that all really kind of pin back to all these wellness benefits and a lot of these social benefits, these how do we make it through a long winter benefits. In Finland, one of the virtues that you have as a person, and maybe the most prized cultural virtue, is this word called sisu. And sisu, if you directly translate it, means guts or grit or perseverance. But most beautifully translated, it's the ability to make it through a long winter. And I think us folks from the north need that. We need a little bit of sisu. We need a little bit, and I think sauna really helps that. In Finland, there's more saunas than there are cars, which is wild. And part of them getting through long winters there, not unlike long winters in Minnesota, is this dynamic of how do we find practices to help us get out and bundle up and go. And that's what you guys are really championing on this podcast, right? Is like, look at all the cool things.
Get out there and go.
You're around, right? Yep. Bundle up, do it. Go strap on your skis, your snowshoes, whatever it is.
There's no bad weather, just bad clothing.
Absolutely. Amen.
Brace yourself, Martha.
So that's what we're up to, and that's some wellness stuff. What other questions come up as you think about just that wellness side?
So you were saying that a lot of people go in for 4 or 5 minutes, whatever. What is the length of sauna that people should aim for? That's
a great question. You should aim for the length of sauna that you feel challenged enough by. A lot of people have experienced the very Americanized competitive sauna, which is to say,
I'm going to stay in here longer.
Who can handle the heat the longest, right? Who can stay in the longest, who can handle the most steam. And that is so tried and true American spirit coming through into this space of sauna. Now, if we roll back and think of what Finnish sauna really is, and Finnish sauna is one expression of a bigger umbrella of what we could call like thermic bathing that cultures all around the world have practiced. So the Native American sweat lodge, the Turkish hammam, the Korean jjinjingbam, there are like all over the world, there are expressions of these healthy, how do we heat our bodies up and cool them down, and what does that do for us? So Finland is just the one that I know because of my family's tradition. I've done some research as well, but in Finnish sauna, it is a space of equity. And one of my favorite Finnish proverbs is, all people are created equal, but nowhere more so than in the sauna. So much so that in that space, throwing water on the rocks to make steam, which is what you do as part of the practice, isn't let's throw a bunch on and see who can handle it, see how we can get somebody to leave.
See how steamy we can make this room right now.
I always feel bad adding water. I never add water when I'm in because I'm like, I don't want to make somebody feel like I'm kicking them out or like I can be in there longer than them, but I do like it a lot hotter than most people do, so like I'll just wait till people leave and then I'll add a ton of water and sit there by myself.
So the practice is this: you ask the room, hey, are we ready for more steam? Mm-hmm. And the person who really gets the final say is the person who's been in the longest. So if it's a space of equity, we give them the final say and not just the person holding the bucket, right? And her holding the ladle. And so again, it's a space to come in and everybody's equal. And And that, I think, for me is a really beautiful picture of sauna. That's a thing that I think heals our polarized world a little bit. Of, hey, the doctor and the lawyer can sit next to the school teacher and the janitor, and you are all in this space together. Mm-hmm. And it isn't a space of hierarchy on who's sitting on the top bench or who's sitting on it. The right amount of sauna is it's challenged by choice, right? And so if you want to stay in longer, if Martha, you like higher heat, you stay in there longer, you put a little more on, but it's always done as a community.
And I know that in the Y sauna, it tends to be a place where a lot of political talk happens.
God, yes.
Sure.
I'm assuming that's something that you want to avoid to aim more towards the wellness of sauna.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in sauna where that has happened. And the thing that I find interesting about it is the fact that it's a really safe space to have those conversations that is a better space than Facebook comments, right? Like,
when they're in there having these super political conversations, everyone is like really listening to what the other person is saying, but we're still talking about politics. Yeah. But I do find that everyone is super understanding and not like badgering anybody with what they're saying. Everybody is still listening to each other. Just this is where they're deciding to have these conversations.
And it feels like all the time.
Well, yeah, every time if you get like the same three guys in there, they're going to start it up. I'm just like, I don't want to do this right now.
Yeah, and I think that would be, as a guided experience, we sort of set the tone. Your guide for the day would set the tone for what is appropriate in that space. And it is the utmost respectful decorum with your people, right? And so this isn't a space that's just the old boys club. This isn't a space that's a sexualized space. This isn't a space that's just the business deals get done in there or political conversations. This is a space for everyone. So how do we do that? Well, we just have a little bit of guidelines for how you interact in that space. And if it ever got to a point where it was like, this is a silly pun because we're talking about saunas, getting heated, we would like sort of say, hey, let's have that conversation later, and that's okay, right? Like, we don't need to have all of that conversation right now.
And I'm guessing kind of that sometimes a lot of emotions can build up when you're having conversations like that. Probably not the best thing when you're trying to
calm and de-stress.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you're here, Chambers Grove Park, correct?
Yeah.
Chambers Grove Park in West Duluth.
Yep.
Couple miles that way, you're at Jaye Cook. Couple miles that way is Lake Superior.
Yeah.
Where else are you planning to go?
Great question. So we'll be all over, I'm going to say the upper Midwest. Chicagoans, come on, let's go. Hey. We'll come on down. And Grand Marais, apparently we got an invite there.
Oh, yes. We're going to figure this out.
but in Duluth, since we're home here and we don't have to move it very far, we're going to work with some of our parks to be at a few of those locations. We're going to work with the city and activate a few public spaces. They have a few great winter carnivals and other activities where, hey, we're adding sauna to that. Really makes sense. But the real thing, the kind of big goal is to move towards a longer term residency model or partnership model that's a multi-month space where we're going to be at this space and we're going to serve you here, because food trucks are great when you're in the park and you're hungry because they're convenient. But sauna is not really a space of convenience. It's a space of intention. You come with your swimsuit, you come with time, and you're ready to be there. And so having a space, I don't want people asking, where are they going to be? I want to work with really a hotel partner somewhere on the North Shore, somewhere in Duluth, that says, we love what you're doing. We would love for you to be here for 3 to 6 months and serve our guests. And I'm going to say, and I will bring you guests. Because the thing that you mentioned before, we're active on social. How do people hear about us? My background's also it's in education and in marketing. And so we're telling a really captivating story because I think sauna can be very captivating. And we're really actively, as a small business, not a ton, have 1,500 followers the weekend they launch, which is what we're doing. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really proud that we've done a ton of work the last 5 months of welcoming people into the vision, telling them a story, guiding them through the process. And now it's fun because now people get to see it. Mm-hmm. People are seeing the images of what this beautiful space looks like. Please go to our Instagram, go to our Facebook, check it out. I think I'm really proud of it. My wife was saying it's kind of like you're pregnant. We just had a new kid, and the kid's pretty cute.
Check out this kid.
Yeah. And so there's this sense for me of like, where are we going to be? Like, why I got into this was because I was working in nonprofit leadership all over the country, based out of Duluth, but I would work with startups and entrepreneurs and faith communities all over the country. And that was great. But I really began to feel like I'm supporting everybody else's community but my own. And so over the past few years, I did a lot of digging deep kind of inner work on finding out, what do I really want? I think one of the deepest questions we can ask as humans is, what do we really want? Not what does everybody else want for our lives? Not want what I think I should want, but in us, what are the deep desires underneath? Maybe that we think we can't even ask for. And in those 2 years of asking that question, I began to realize the thing I really wanted was the flourishing of Duluth, the flourishing of my city. I really care about this city. I love it. I really love it. I love the people. And I love the land. How could I, some guy from Duluth who has 2 kids, how could I serve and support that? And this tradition of sauna, this thing that I've grown up with and I've done my whole life, that I've guided people through, well, that could be a way. And so we worked really hard on business plans and building and planning and strategizing to make sure the thing that we did towards the flourishing of Duluth, that's the goal, really can serve that. And now we're going to do that. Now we're in the space where we're actually setting up to support the flourishing of Duluth. And I have basically committed the next 10 years of my life to do that. All right. Like, we're into the new decade here. We're in December recording this.
Yep. We're
2019. And
mid-ish early December, I'd say.
Yeah. So the next 10 years is what I'm committing to this in my life. And who knows what that'll look like in 10 years. I mean, I have hopes and dreams and more spaces, but...
We were just talking about how the west part of Superior Street, that's Superior Street, right? That we were looking at, where the new cider houses are, and...
Oh, yeah.
Lincoln Park neighborhood.
Yeah, they're really trying to reinvent that area. That's been a lot since I moved away. Every time I come back, there's like a new, something new, and like it's just really awesome to see them really working hard to change that side of town, because that's supposed to be like the bad part of town, like you don't want to go there. So it's just really awesome growing up here to see them really trying to reinvent that area and succeeding with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great neighborhood. If you're down there, go visit all of our friends. Duluth Cider, Ursa Minor Brewing, Ben Paddle.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah. OMC Smokehouse. Pro tip, this is for the insiders. When you're in Duluth, come visit Noble Pour, which is the newest cocktail bar that isn't even open yet. It's going to open soon. Craft cocktails. Ask for Tyler. He'll hook you up. Okay?
We might have to do a podcast episode on that.
Just like bounce to all.
I'll drive you around, Martha. It's okay. I don't drink.
So
this is why we keep you around.
So absolutely, though. I mean, there are people who are moving here and are building jobs here for themselves because they care about this space and they want to see Duluth flourish. And I just began to fall in love with the city in the same way and say, I want to do that too. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing.
How many of these do you plan to have?
Well, this space is really unique. It's really big, end to end. It's 34 feet, 8 feet wide, and 13.3 tall. It's very large, and to have wheels on it. It's like a tiny home. If you've seen tiny homes, it sort of fits in that footprint. I have vision. I have a lot of vision for multiple sizes and multiple that could come in the next few years. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's something that we can do. And then a lot of people, they've experienced sauna, and then they also have a cabin or a lake place or a backyard, and they come here and they say, how do I get one of these? Not this big. I don't need the giant one, but do you guys build these? And I would say yes. We are working right now with a handful of folks in town doing custom sauna builds, because I think I think raising the temperature of Duluth in every home and neighborhood is actually a good thing in terms of adding a sauna because of the health benefits. And a lot of people would want that. And the caliber in which, the design, the very high-end design that we're trying to market, I don't see anywhere else. And the quality, I'm really shooting for pretty top-notch quality. And so we work with a lot of folks locally. We're working with some local builders and craftspeople. We work with a brand here out of Duluth called Intextural, who provides amazing building materials. Martha's over here sitting on a bench that is built with Rich Light, which is a material made out of paper. And it's super durable, it's beautiful, it's the siding on our building, and it shows up all over, kind of adding this sort of high-end feel. And it's also really sustainable. So Rich Light's on here. Arbor wood is a thermally modified wood. If you're like a builder or want to look into home stuff, go check out our friends at Intextural. They just do really great work and provide high quality things. And so that's the thing that I want people to, if they buy a sauna from me, it lasts and it's an heirloom. I want it to...
That's a good way to put it.
I want there to be people who can pass that to their kids. And that's an idea that to make something that lasts is, again, not unlike the Duluth Pack family and friends of ours, right? You make something that really lasts. And, oh, by the way, Rich Light's maintenance free when it's on the side. It's expensive on the front end, yes, but we're sort of sinking roots into the ground to say, how do we do this for a long time? We bought a stove from a builder in Tower, Minnesota, just up the road north. Before you get to Ely, you hit Tower. And the Kuma stove from Lampa Manufacturing, multiple generations that company has been building stoves and wood-fired furnaces, and they're amazing. And this stove will last us 40 years. And it's engineered so that it's one of the most efficient wood stoves on the market. So we are using less wood, it's better for the environment, it's still the highest quality, and it's gonna last. And those are the kinds of materials, and that's the kind of hope that we have. If you have a backyard or a cabin where you're interested in having a sauna, we're gonna give you the best one. And it's gonna look great multiple years down the road, and you're gonna get the best experience in it. So we're trying to do that in a few different ways. It's not just a mobile spa, it's not just a unique idea. We're trying to say, hey, how do we fit and support every demographic wherever they're at, whether it's little kids coming into the sauna with their parents or folks that are saying, you know what, we have this beautiful place on the lake and I sure would love having a sauna there.
Oh, I
come talk to me.
This. Like on one of our, we both work for a vacation rental company, and there's some just incredible houses on cliffs overlooking the lake. And I can imagine sitting right there. I'm looking in the sauna room at these floor to ceiling windows and just imagining how incredible that could be.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great dream. I'm enjoying it.
Great. One thing we maybe haven't talked about a ton is the history of sauna. We talked a lot about wellness and kind of what we're doing currently, but it's really interesting that I believe I believe that Duluth is the Nordic sauna capital of North America. So 100 years ago, Duluth had the most Finnish immigrants of anywhere else in the country in the 1910 census, and then they published that in the Duluth News Tribune. And so those folks, when they came over, they were immigrants. And they, at the time of those immigrant waves, were sort of the lowest on the socioeconomic class. So they had the worst jobs in the mines and the mills and the logging camps and the docks. And those Finnish immigrants, they helped build our city. And what is now Canal Park, which is our tourist destination and one of the hubs of Duluth that you got to go to, that was called Finntown because there were so many Finnish immigrants who lived there. And it was the docks, and it was boarding houses, and it was immigrants who didn't have very much money. Back in the day, the canal itself wasn't even built out of concrete, it was wood. And if you know anything about waves from Lake Superior, they get big. And those wooden canal docks got real wavy real quick. And when they had to put in the concrete to install around the lift bridge, they paid Finnish day laborers pennies on the dollar, right? Because they were the cheapest labor and they were right there. And in those spaces, all of those Finnish immigrants had this cultural treasure and practice of sauna, but they didn't have money to go buy this fancy place on the lake. Nobody had cabins. Nobody had homes of their own yet.
Yeah.
They had boarding houses and public saunas, community saunas, multiple that were right down in Canal Park on the water, and multiple that were dotting the hillside. And so when I say Duluth is the Finnish sauna capital of North America, I'm saying that historically we have been an epicenter of Finnish sauna in a public sphere, the thing that we're trying to do here. In the last 100 years, those spaces fell away because those immigrants bought the farm and they built the sauna. They bought a house and they put a sauna in the basement or the backyard, or they had a cabin and they put the sauna there. That hasn't really changed. Most of those immigrants and their families still carry on the tradition. They've protected it really well. Immigrants, the treasures they have, they protect them really well. The thing we're trying to do is both revitalize and revive that tradition in a public space, in a community space, and to share it. If you've ever been with somebody and they've tried to correct you on how to pronounce that word of sauna or sauna, it is a good Finnish preservationist at work, because they're trying to protect that word, which is to say they're trying to protect that tradition and that cultural treasure. And I love that. And at the same time, I want to turn that over. Instead of protect it, I want to share it. I want to guide people through it. And yes, it doesn't need to be watered down if we guide it well. We can hand it off and teach people it rather than say hand it off and go do what you want with it. Because I do think there's some real meaning in that culture and in the practice and in the how-to and why it's valuable. So yeah.
And do you prefer people make reservations to come, or I saw like you posted this morning, or here from 11 till 4?
Yeah, just go book on our website. It makes it way easier because you can pick a time that works for you. You can pick a session that you'd prefer to be at. You can see, hey, there's 10 spots left for this time. Let's book as a group and we'll just buy out that whole session. And so our website is cedarandstonesauna.com. And you can hear the story, all the stuff I'm talking about now, and you can click the book now button and you can see what's available. And that makes it really efficient. And so we've worked with some great people to build that site, some great photographers in town. I love working with the most talented people in my area, in my community. And it's been so fun because it's not been, even though I've been somebody who's really been championing it, a community has built this. And that I'm really proud of. And we did an event this weekend just for the folks who had a hand in this. I just said, hey, before we open, folks who painted boards and hammered nails and taken pictures and installed signage and all those little details, I said, come, I just want to host you and be here. And it was, I sort of got and am getting emotional thinking about it because there are so many people that had a hand in creating this space that I'm really proud of, and that I'm really proud of a community doing something like that rather than just one person doing it over a long time, because I believe in communities. I believe things are better when they're done as a team and collaboratively. And so we've had a lot of hands create this space.
I know Martha even recognized one of the photographers you worked with.
Oh, Angela.
Oh, she's the best.
We used to work together when I worked at the Duluth Y before I think it was in between like college, just during the summer.
Yeah.
I saw her on there and I was like, oh my God, it's Angela. I haven't seen her in forever.
If you are looking for great portrait photography, family sessions, kids sessions, if you got a wedding coming up, go to Angela Joe Photography. Angela Smith. She is dynamite.
Great person.
Yep.
Just great personality all around. Like just a really awesome person to know.
So it's a small Duluth community because we were flipping through and she's like, I know her. So. Yep. All right.
Should we go take a sauna?
I feel like we need to.
Okay, so interview part 1 just happened. And we're going to send these folks, they're going to go into our heated wall tent to do the changing area. We're going to get them more hydrated. And then we're going to go take a sauna and we'll guide you through it. And then we'll do a little recording after. I want to hear. I'm flipping the interview in part 2, and I want to hear like how does it feel like? What did you learn? What did you experience? And all that kind of stuff. Sound good?
I enjoyed that. I don't think I've ever been interviewed before, so this should be interesting. All right,
part 2.
Here we go.
This episode is sponsored by The Big Lake.
The Big Lake is an approachable art gallery and gift shop located in the beautiful harbor town of Grand Marais, Minnesota, as well as online at www.thebiglakelife.com. The Big Lake provides a beautifully curated and fun shopping experience to complement your North Shore adventures with artists and products that reflect the culture, values, allure, and lifestyle of the North Shore. Shop online at www.thebiglakelife.com and use promo code EXPLORE for 15% off your first online order with The Big Lake.
You know, Sauna is a space where we always ask, are we ready for some steam?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Martha is.
Are you not a person, Jaye?
So yeah, there's always, in good sauna design, there should be more than one level of heat. Bad sauna design looks really fancy, cool windows, and then you have like one low bench and feet and feet and feet above somebody's head. Good sauna design is the top bench, an average sized person, whatever that is, should be about 2 to 3 fists above their head for the ceiling, so that you can really be in the hottest heat if you want, or you can be in some of the mellower heat, or the little kiddos can sit on the floor.
How long did it take to build this one?
Yeah, so we worked with a great custom construction company in Duluth, Knutson Custom Construction, and we started early last summer, 2019, working with them. We started the build midsummer, and we wrapped it up in November of this year. And so yeah, great company to work with, full design build services. So I came in with a little bit of a design background and kind of knowing what I wanted. And they have great people to help sketch and design and work that out, and then some builders who have built great things over the years, and lots of both small buildings and saunas and little spaces and really big corporate settings and big homes here in our area. And so they were just the right people to work with, and it's a joy to work with them. They're some good friends now, and you know, as we keep building more saunas, they're kind of our home team in terms of more sauna builds. Mm-hmm.
I'm just enjoying being in a sauna.
Mm-hmm. So, Martha, you said you've sauned at the Y a lot.
Yes, I do, especially in the winter, because my skin hates the chlorine, and it hates the combination of chlorine that we use at that pool.
Yeah. What was, other than sort of exfoliation, skincare, or anything like that, did adding sauna to your winters add any other benefits?
I mean, yeah, especially when I would do it at the end of my day after working all day, doing all my swim lessons. I just felt, you just feel really good at the end of the day. Like, it's a better way to end your day than just going straight home. Like, most days I'd be like, yeah, I just kind of want to go home. But the days that I did decide to sauna, I go home, I feel ready for bed. I don't feel super restless. Like, it's a good way to end your day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
I unfortunately don't get to do it that often because I don't go to the Y, and my parents have one. They actually have a really nice one behind their house, but that wasn't the house I grew up in. They bought that after we moved out. So the other thing with me is I've been pregnant for 6 years. So
oh man, you're a superhero.
Yeah.
Like women who have babies are it's an amazing feat, like climbing mountains, and apparently you've climbed a few of them.
I moved to Grand Marais. You weren't there when I moved there, but I moved to the Grand Marais when I was 17 weeks pregnant and had a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
So people have always known me as somebody who's pregnant, because then I had another pregnancy after that, and now I'm not for the first time, and I'm like, I can actually enjoy this sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sauna, because it's a physical activity, you do want to be careful. Mm-hmm. We have folks come in, and this is both for liability and for just showing that it's a really physical activity, sign a medical waiver so they can come in and they know that, hey, here's all the benefits, here's what we expect, but also, if you're pregnant, you really do need to talk to your doctor. Yeah. In Finland, a lot of the moms, they've sauned a lot, and they can continue that to some extent in their pregnancy at lower heats and less time. But it isn't something, just like exercise and running if you haven't done that and then you get pregnant, you shouldn't start that while you're pregnant.
That's what, and same thing with like hot tubs and things like that. Like, if you're not used to it, don't
You're already cooking a child and making a child. We don't need to add any more heat.
I already felt hot enough then anyway. I didn't need to add more heat to my... Yeah.
So, but there's, I think, post baby, it is a great way to relieve that stress. And I know being a dad, early infant years and the first year of life comes with a whole lot of new challenges and a whole lot of stress. And so I'm excited to welcome in new moms and dads to give them a few moments away from kiddo to rest and rejuvenate and feel good and recharged, ready to go back to loving those kids.
Yes.
It's a good way to put sauning when I'm sick.
Oh, yeah.
People always see me in like the sauna in like a jacket and pants. This is so nice. Like, I'm not even sweating, but this feels so great.
Yeah, I mean, for your respiratory system, for kind of getting through a lot of that.
Feel it start, like,
if think about this mindfully, people, don't, like, if you're about to throw up, don't hang out in the public sauna. Like, that's not the best idea. But if you're feeling the cold coming on, that's the time to catch it with sauna. That's when it's creeping up and you're like, ooh, later this week I could be out of commission. Oh yeah. Right? Yep. That's the time. Come in and like actually cleanse a lot of that out, sweat a lot of it out, and I always feel better that way. If I have a sore throat, really, that's a good time for it.
Congestion, I'm gonna go sauna.
I had a weird freak asthma attack actually on, it's Friday night.
Game night.
And I don't know, it was just, I haven't had one for a decade. And all of a sudden I'm like, I can't breathe. And I slept underneath my humidifier that night and felt better. And I'm like, I'm actually like, oh, there it is. I can breathe deeply again. Yeah. So nice.
Some people, when they come into the sauna, because the air is warm, they maybe feel like they can't breathe, right? Or they have to take short breaths. And so again, in a way to help people come into it and open the door even wider is I want to teach people, hey, there's just a few little tricks, right? And so our air in here is pretty hot. It's on the top bench. It's a mid 180s right now. It's around 170s on the bottom bench, and sometimes your lungs maybe aren't used to that. One way to cheat that is by pursing your lips like you're going to whistle, but breathing in. And when air goes through small spaces, it cools down, right?
It does.
So it's a really, it's a little trick. If it's getting too hot, the things you do are you either lower yourself, so you go to a bottom bench, or purse your lips. Right? Smart. And then that helps out that longer breath to get in. Some saunas, they don't think a lot about ventilation. We think a lot about ventilation because it's going to be real warm and you want fresh air coming in. You don't want to burn out all the oxygen, especially with a wood stove. Our wood stove is heated and fed externally to the building so that in here we'd have nobody manning any pieces of wood. There's not birch bark on the floor. And nobody's opening something that could be dangerous or harmful to those little ones running around. So very protected, and we can set it up on the outside. But we've thought a lot about ventilation, so good fresh air coming in here, and then guiding people, hey, just here's a few helpful tips on how to breathe. It'll help you stay in here a little longer. And when you feel like you're done, when you've heated enough, okay, pause, go get some water, go cool down a little bit. You can cool down in the nice slow way by just going outside and letting it slowly cool your body. Or you can go jump in the snowbank.
Yes.
That could be a good way.
I'm excited for that actually.
And we have this really wonderful water system built into the sauna where you can drop a bucket of water over your head to cleanse and rinse when you are all done. So we've tried to think of, I don't know about everything, but we've thought about a lot of stuff to make the experience really great because I don't want people sort of leaving here feeling clammy.
Yeah.
Like, I just sweated really hard. Now what?
I'm still sweaty.
Yep. And so I want people to leave feeling that cleansed, refreshed feeling at the end of the day, right? Or at the beginning of their day if they're going to go to work then.
I want to try it because I work in an office. I'm used to working at the Y where I'm walking around a lot. I just sit all day. So tried to get myself into a routine of working out before I go to the office, and I was thinking maybe I should try sauning every few days and just see how that goes in the morning.
Totally. it's a different, it's often a different feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a much more sort of peaceful, mindful experience.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's almost like meditation.
For sure. Yeah, this space, like I said, is like really malleable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really cool to have a spot in my life where even though I'm an extrovert, I kind of like silence in the sauna. It's a hack for me. When I'm in beautiful nature, I like silence.
Just stand and take
And when I'm in the sauna, I like silence. And it's odd because I'm so the other end of the spectrum. I just love people and love connecting.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the other side is true, that it's healthy for me.
Yeah.
To have space to decompress, to have the quiet. And conversely, if you're somebody who loves the quiet, it's also healthy for you to have those social spaces. It's healthy for you to have those spaces where you're interacting, not holed up and isolated. And I think sauna can actually provide both, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, I go both ways with saunas. Sometimes I'm in there and I talk to other people, and other times I like to put my earbuds in and just like zen out with my music, like in my own silence, and just like sit there and take it in.
Oop, I hear some giggling.
We got more people here, you guys. So come
right.
sauna. So I'm going to go bring in and welcome our guests. You got it.
Oh, she's sitting in the snow. I bet. I think we lost her.
Yeah.
Oh, there she goes. The going in is fine. It's the coming back. That's rough.
The system in here.
Okay, so we've sauna'd. Okay. Oh, I hear the water going. So Martha and I are going to do, I feel like this is the best version of the ice bucket challenge.
Well, we don't know if it's going to be super cold.
Yeah, I have no idea what this temperature of this water is going to be, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we're going to get this on video. So if you want to see this part, you're going to have to hop over to the YouTube and watch Martha and I doing the water buckets. Here we go.
So how do you guys feel? We just sounded.
Yes.
I feel like a baby.
Rinsed off.
Baby soft skin.
I say my skin is incredibly soft.
Right? Clear in the nose.
Yeah.
Can breathe great. Not that
Wish
I
I had this Friday night. Yeah. And you threw in some essential oils on the second round, and that was really nice. And
yeah, again, I mean, quality. And so it's been awesome having you guys here, getting to experience it. And, if you're listening to this and want to come check us out, you can find us at cedarandstonesauna.com. We're also on Instagram at Cedar and Stone Sauna, and on Facebook as well. Go find us, all the channels.
And TikTok.
We're on TikTok too. Go find us on TikTok. And we couldn't be more excited to host you at some time. And so thank you guys for being here and helping us launch this weekend. And I love what you're doing. I love the work you're doing, telling stories of the North.
Yeah.
We're telling one here.
And this is pretty Northlandia. There you go.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Martha, we're back in the car post sauna. How are you feeling?
Amazing. It was really awesome. It was a good experience. It was more than just like going and sitting in a sauna. It was learning about it and like the history of it, like just stuff you don't really think about when you're just going to sauna at the end of the day.
Yeah. I don't sauna as often as you do, but I feel really good.
Yeah. Like I said, just your skin just feels so amazing, and you just like, I wasn't congested before I went in, but I just feel like I'm breathing better.
All my makeup came off, which dumb of me to put on makeup when I knew I was going to go into sauna. But like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, I look good right now. Like, I'm super glowy.
Just feel refreshed.
This is so nice.
Yeah.
So highly recommended. Again, yes. Cedar and Stone Sauna. I found them on Instagram. Their Instagram is fabulous. Justin does a great job. It's very interesting. I check their stories daily and just follow along. It's been fun. And when you're in Duluth, find out where they're going to be and sign up and come take a sauna.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. So, so this has been Exploring the North Shore with
Martha
and Jaye, and we'll be back. We're going to take a little break now for Christmas, but we will see everybody back in 2020. It's a new year, new episodes of the podcast. Stay tuned. I've heard a rumor Joe may be back for an episode because he does still want to do the ice fishing, of course. So you may be hearing from Joe. Of course, we'll be hearing more of Martha and more of me. So stay tuned. We'll see you next year.